Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I'm excited today because we have got a new, I guess you could say a new Jeep in the family, a new member of the family. This is a 2003 Rubicon. It's a TJ, and my dad picked this up. So he still got his 2022, the newer Rubicon, and now he's got a 2003. So it's kind of cool. I've got an 83, now he's got a 2003, and then we both have, he's got a 22 and I got a 24. So we basically got every 20 years of Jeep of the Wrangler. So it's pretty cool. This thing is clean, it's nice. I mean, it's got a decent amount of miles, but it still runs good. It's a 5-speed, it's a manual. So this thing is awesome, and I'm looking forward to doing some projects with it. He wants to do a little bit more, you know, nothing too crazy, looking at maybe a long arm lift and some 35s, maybe a re-gear if we need it, you know, just some little stuff, nothing too extreme, but man, pretty clean Jeep. He's already got some new wheels for it. They're on the way, not here yet, but got some black rims for it. And right now it's sitting on 33, so it looks pretty good. Super clean. So today with this, we got to do some maintenance with it. We're looking at doing some new U-joints today. Hopefully that fixes the problem. If not, we might need to do some new hubs. We just decided, you know what, let's do those U-joints real fast and we'll check that out and see if it fixes everything. All right, let's get it pulled inside and we'll get set up. All right, so we got the Jeep pulled in the garage. Got the front tires off, got everything suspended up in the air, and now we're ready to get started. So the first thing we got to do is get this brake caliper out of the way. So it's two 12 mil bolts on the back. We'll pull those out, pull the brake caliper off, and then we'll go ahead and wire it up to the spring and get it up out of the way. Okay, now that we got the brake caliper out of the way, we need to go ahead and we can go ahead and pull our rotor. Sometimes these will be seized up. You might have to tap it with a hammer. Looks like we're gonna have to. There we go. All right, so we'll set the brake rotor out of the way. Next up is we're actually ready to go ahead and pull the axle out. In order to do that, we're gonna go ahead and take the whole hub assembly out with the axle shaft. So there's 3 bolts on the back, which are a 13 millimeter. Now they are a star pattern bolt. You have 1 up top and then 2 down on each side. So we'll go ahead and pull those 3 bolts out, and then we'll be able to pull the whole axle assembly out. Okay, now we'll note here that these are a star pattern 13 mil, so make sure you got one of those ready before you start this project. All right, so now that we got those 3 out from the back, should be able to pull this whole axle assembly out. It might be seized up a little bit like ours is. There we go. So now this whole assembly will come out together. So now we're ready to start getting our old U-joints out. There's C-clips on the back side of each one of your caps, so there's 4 in total. And I don't know if you can see it there or not. I'm trying to get you a good picture. But right inside there is that C-clip. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pry those out. Let's see if actually I can pop that one out one-handed. So not gonna be able to do it one-handed, so I'll set you up. But that's what we're doing, is this C-clip right back here. We're gonna go ahead and pop those out. All right, and there you can see that's that C-clip I just pried out of there. We'll get all 4 of those out. All right, now that we're done with that, the next part's the really fun part. So we need to press these ends of your U-joint. You press them down inside and you're gonna pop out the bottom, and then you'll actually have to push it back out the other way. So you have to press out both sides. For us, we've already done the driver's side. We're working on the passenger side now. These are stuck in there. They're rusted in and they do not wanna move. So actually what we had to do on the other side is we actually pressed out one side, could not get the cap to properly remove. So we ended up actually just cutting it out. Hopefully this side goes a little bit smoother. What I'm gonna do, so you got 2 different options. You can hammer these out. If that's what you have. We have a shot press, so we might try the shot press. I might try to hammer them out, but either way, you want to push these down in, and what that'll do is that once you push this side down, the other cap on the opposite side will pop out. You can pull it off, and then you'll have to reverse it and push it back out this way to get this cap to come out this way. So that's what we're doing now. We're just gonna figure out what we got to do to get these pressed out, and hopefully this side's a little easier than the other side. Okay, so this is the setup that we have, just using a couple impact sockets. The bottom impact socket is big enough for the U-joint cap to go down inside of, and then on top we're using another impact socket to press it down in. Not the best setup, but it's the best that we've got. So like I said, on the other side, this took an uncomfortable amount of pressure to get it to move. I'm hoping this side moves a little bit better. I was gonna hit it with some more penetrating oil, just to hopefully maybe get that soaked in there just a little bit more, and hopefully everything will slide it for us, but we're about to find out. All right, so there's that side. All right, so now our cap should just pop out of there. It's just barely in there. Just got to get it the rest of the way out. So I just had to get it that last little bit, but now you can see that cap will slide out. You do have bearings in here. They're probably going to fall out because there's not a whole lot of grease left in these, because these are pretty shot. So if there was good grease in there, they'd actually just stay in there and we wouldn't have to worry about it, but they're not going to. So now what we got to do is on this back side, you can't actually get your U-joint out of there. So you have to press this cap. If you can see, you have to press this cap back out through the other side and back out. So what we're going to try to do is kind of get everything lubed up and everything, grease it up with some penetrating oil, and then do the best we can to get it lined up so that we can press it back out. The hard part is getting it lined up, especially whenever it's just old, nothing's really greased up anymore, and our axle shafts kind of need to be cleaned. Okay, so what I did there is I actually just tapped it just a little bit so I could get that bottom cap in where I wanted it, and now I'm gonna go ahead and press it down to the bottom, and then we'll have to switch and put our impact socket underneath. But hopefully we're all lined up and we can just press it back down in. Oh yeah. And I will say, if things are moving pretty smooth for you, you can actually just tap these out with a hammer. Like I said, we already tried this on the other side and it did not go that smooth. And we still got, the other caps to do. I think on this side, I might actually just tap it out the rest of the way with a hammer, just because everything's moving so smooth and it shouldn't be that hard just to push this cap out with a hammer, tapping on this side. Might just do it that way instead of setting up the press for it. Okay, so that side went much better. Now you can work your U-joint or your U-joint out of your axle, like so. All right, so now we still got to do the exact same thing except for the hub assembly. So we'll go ahead and do that. No change, nothing different. Just press out one side, flip it over, press out the other side, and get this old U-joint out of the way. So we'll go ahead and knock that out real fast. Okay, so now that we got our old U-joints out of the way, what I'm gonna do, I've got a little wire brush and some brake clean and some penetrating oil. I'm just gonna scrub the inside of these and just kind of clean these up a little bit where that old U-joint's been sitting. Just make sure I got kind of all the rust and any debris or anything like that out of there. Just make it nice and clean, make it easier for reassembly of our new U-joints. So now we're ready to reinstall our not reinstall, not the old ones, but the new ones, our new U-joints. So there's several different U-joint types and styles. He went to Spicer, so we basically kind of got essentially the stock replacement. So the way this works is you're gonna pull these caps off. Now be careful and be mindful because your bearings are inside there. Now there's a good amount of grease which will hold them in place, but just keep it in mind, your bearings are in there and you do not want to jar those away from the edge where they'll catch your actual U-joint. So we'll go ahead and pull the caps off of two of them. Get our U-joint in there. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and line up one cap, get it on there, make sure that my bearings are good, everything's spinning freely, and then I'm gonna go ahead and tap that one in. And I'm just doing all this by hand. It should tap in pretty easily, really. So I've got enough space in there. I could go ahead and I'll go ahead and just pop on this C-clip on this side. So that's it, nice and easy. And then I'll make sure it's seated all the way, which it looks like it is, but I'll just double check, make sure it's seated. All right, so that side is technically good. Now what we need to do for this other side is I'm gonna just very carefully slide the U-joint out a little bit closer. I'm not pulling it out of the bearings on the far side though. And then I'll just slide this one on. See, so I know now it's free spinning, and I know that none of my bearings are messed up. If you can see that, so it's free spinning there. So I know that my U-joint is inside the bearings, gonna hold those in place. So now I'm ready to go ahead and tap this one in. And now I'll kind of keep an eye here as I'm hammering. What I want is I want to see where that notch where our C-clip's going to slide in. I want to hammer it in just far enough where I can get that C-clip in there, and don't want to hammer it too hard. And I will say I'm using a metal hammer, but I'm also barely hitting this thing. Just be careful, be mindful. Like it doesn't take a lot to hammer these in, so that's why I'm using a metal hammer. You might want to use some sort of dead blow or something if you're worried about damaging your U-joints, or if you're having issues where you got to hit it a little harder. I'm just barely tapping it and it's sliding right in. All right, now we can pop our C-clip in like so. So now that side of our U-joint is completely done and good to go. So now we'll do the same thing. I'm gonna pull these caps off. We'll slide the axle shaft on and then just do one cap at a time. And we're gonna just do the exact same thing to reinstall our axle shaft onto our hub assembly. Okay, so now that we've got our axle shaft ready to go, you know, connected to the hub assembly, we got our new U-joint in. Go ahead and slide our dust shield for the brakes. We'll go ahead and slide it back on. Make sure you got it the right way. And then we can go ahead and reinsert the axle shaft and basically just throw everything back together because we're done. Okay, so we are good now to throw the tires back on. We'll get it out there, check it out, and make sure we don't have any horrible noise in the front like we had. But yeah, it's pretty easy. Like I said, you missed the driver's side. It did go a little harder for us on that side just because those bearings, or those old U-joint caps, they were stuck on there. And like I said, we ended up having to actually cut some of them off to get those old U-joints out. But this side went super smooth. I think as long as you soak everything down in some penetrating oil on these older Jeeps, it'll definitely help you with this process. But yeah, we'll button it up and I'll get it pulled back outside and we'll check it out. Okay, so we are completely done with the new U-joints and got it pulled outside, took it on a little test drive. Unfortunately, that did not fix our problem. Now we do know for a fact that the U-joints were shot. You know, whenever you turn it full lock, we could actually see those U-joints popping and moving. But unfortunately, we think that now it's definitely gonna be the hubs as well, along with the U-joints, which we kind of thought about that to begin with. But like I said, we thought we'd try the U-joints first, and turns out, yeah, U-joints didn't work. That wasn't the only problem, and we're gonna have to swap out those hubs. So that'll be for another video. So that's it for today. Man, I love this Jeep. I love these old TJs. Definitely excited to get some more projects in and show you more of this Jeep down the road. I think it's going to be a fun toy to have. Now, you know, we've got our main Jeep and then my old CJ, and now my dad's got his main Jeep and then this old TJ. So it's fun to have something that you're not quite as worried about, you know, getting scratched up or anything else, taking it out on the trails. So it'll be a lot of fun. I hope y'all enjoyed this video today. You know, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that kind of good stuff, whatever YouTubers say. So, yep, we'll see you next time.